Delegate Helmer. You're batting 1,000 today.
Thank you.
So is Delegate Mugler back in the room? If not, we'll move on to Delegate Levine as HJ 552. Delegate Levine, good morning to you.
Good morning to all of you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I have a brief line amendment that I'd like to approve to clarify that there's a certified floodplain manager to be on the commission.
Okay. Is there someone move that line amendment?
So moved.
Okay, without objection, the line amendment is before us with this study. Tell us about your study in less than 3 minutes.
I will do so. So climate change has caused tremendous flooding all across the Commonwealth. And our General Assembly has done a lot of work in studying and dealing with the long-term and short-term impacts of flooding that is coastal or particularly in tidewater. But we've had tremendous urban and inland flooding that's not been included in those studies. And because our old models aren't working anymore, we have 100-year floodplains, 100-year flood zones that are supposed to flood once every 100 years. And in Alexandria, this once in 100-year occurrence occurred 3 times last year in 2020. Massive rainfall, storm water systems that are unable to handle the influx of rain. And we could mute the other person here.
Sorry about that, Delegate Levine. We have some intervention here from unmuted microphones. Go ahead.
No problem. In any case, the flood is only increasing over time. Flooding is the greatest natural hazard in terms of economic and social impact, greater than fires, greater than the wind from hurricanes and from tornadoes. This is a problem, obviously, not just in Alexandria, it's all across Virginia, which is why 10 delegates are putting this forward, a bipartisan group from all across the Commonwealth. And the groups that support it include VML, VACO, the American Society of Civil Engineers, the American Council of Engineering Companies, the Home Builders Association of Virginia, the Sierra Club, and the League of Conservation Voters. When you get environmentalists and developers and city officials and engineers all agreeing on something, it shows that its time has come. I'd like to yield the rest of my time to Sarah Taylor. She is the chief and very effective legislative officer, legislative liaison, I should say, for the city of Alexandria.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
And also a constituent of the morning. You're the only witness today that lives in the 43rd district.
Well, we're grateful to you for your representation and hope you'll consider what we brought to the table here. And again, while this was brought to the table by the city of Alexandria, it is certainly not an issue that is unique to us. I think every member of this committee has seen the impacts of these flooding events in their own communities, and from sinkholes in Falls Church to Swiftwater Rescue in Bedford to to watching the flood wall in Huntington. This is an issue that's affecting communities across the Commonwealth, and it is a unique issue from coastal flooding, and it brings unique people to the table. And we really need a place to convene to discuss this unique threat to life, health, public safety, and property that is incredibly relevant to communities across the Commonwealth. There's no one solution to these events, and we really need an opportunity to consider the need for infrastructure investments, development standards, permit requirements, grant and tax incentives, and a real plan to address these issues. And a multifaceted issue requires a multidisciplinary approach to addressing all these issues, looking at it through the lenses of zoning and building codes, land use planning, public safety, environmental issues, and through the lens of racial and social equity. And so there's no better way to address a complicated issue than to bring everyone together, and we're really hopeful there will be an appropriate venue to do that. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Is there anybody in the audience that's opposed to this study of flooding, urban flooding?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Madam Clerk. Okay, good. Members of the committee, I talked to Chairman Plum about this issue last night. Since this is a joint subcommittee, if this moved forward with the Senate, the joint subcommittee would be organized, and he agreed to take on this issue if we send him a letter recommending that he do so. The committee operates by motion.
Move to table with a letter to Delegate Plum.
Second.
Okay, seconders.
Second.
Seconded by Delegate Kilgore. Please open the roll, Madam Clerk. The motion to lay the bill on the table with a letter to the Chairman of the Agriculture Chesapeake Natural Resource Committee passes on a vote of 5-0. Thank you, Delegate Levine, for bringing this to our attention.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, have a good day. I might see you later. Delegate Guzman, you have your HJ 561.